wanted to do a follow-up on the last video because I think maybe people may have not understood everything that I was saying in that video, but, to be completely honest, I think that in situations like that, it's bound to happen in circles where the light-skinned women are promoted as fetishes and fantasies for dark-skinned men's consumption, basically. Because, like I said in my first video, when people talk against darker-skinned men in circles where they talk in favor of light-skinned women, they will cape for dark-skinned men because that's their source of validation. Now the thing is, like I said, that is not just dark-skinned men. You see, dark-skinned people come from insecure dark-skinned families. They are all sensitive in one way or another about their dark skin. Now that doesn't mean all dark-skinned people, by the way. I'm just saying the ones that they cater to. I wanted to put in that I kind of do think that where this whole type of gender war and issue that people brought up in that video came up, it started, I think, from the female side of it. And the reason I say the female side, because it's well known that there are, and I'm not saying all, but there are light-skinned women who do trash light-skinned men. And I think this is a major reason I don't get offended by light-skinned men who have a certain perspective of light-skinned women. Most of the time, from my perception, as a lighter-skinned woman, I feel like I'm not really offended by it because they're really talking about the women who are different, and they basically, will trash their own image in favor of dark-skinned men, or they will search for validation from a man that's dark-skinned and basically align themselves with dark skin and not look for their own image in lighter-skinned men. I never find it offensive myself. It's just like, I'm a lighter-skinned woman. If you understood my perspective, I would be the type that would actually complain to you about why lighter-skinned men generally seem to pervert attention from darker-skinned women, So, from my perspective, it's like, I don't get offended by someone clowning a light-skinned or lighter-skinned woman for trying to get validation from darker-skinned men. I think people who get offended by that usually are guilty of it, and therefore that's why they're angry about it, because they feel like they have been called out and somebody has actually realized that they are insecure in this way. It's not really that shocking that somebody's going to call you out for why you need to appeal to dark-skinned people if you are trying to actually go on your own way. As they say, exoticals going on their own way, specifically. If you're going on your own way, then go on your own way. But no, you're not. What you're doing is you're actually trying to look to dark-skinned people, because that's all you ever know how to do, is look to dark-skinned people for some kind of acceptance. And I don't know, to me, from my perspective, I've just never looked to them like that. I've never looked to dark-skinned men. I looked to dark-skinned women. But I talked about my whole story when I was 20, how that went down, and I was like, okay. After that, I was like, you keep your distance. And honestly, I was raised by a dark-skinned mother who was rejected by dark-skinned women. So, I kind of came into the perspective that that was going to happen anyway. But yeah, to me, I just think, these people basically, need validation and look for validation in places that they claim they don't. And, it spirals out into light skinned men acting the same way. And so I feel like both are guilty at this point.